So at last, folks, Manchester United finally make a decision. They finally press the button and they've decided to stick with ERIK for at least one more year. He's got a year left of his contract and I think they're going to extend it. That means nothing, so he's only going to be guaranteed a year. Might be guaranteed only 3 to 6 months if they start badly. But he's in the hot seat again next year. Now, I've been calling for this, not so much them to keep him, but them to sort themselves out and decide what they're going to do, either stick or twist. They've finally stuck. I always, most of last season wanted ERIK to stay. Then I was 50-50. Then there was one time, and I did a message on it, I just wanted him gone. I thought, that's it. It's just too bad. We're at the stage now where many look like they're not playing for him, and we can't have that. Either that, or his tactics really are as bad as KAREL says, and there's something amiss there. But, and it's a big but, they did improve in a few of the games, although they still stunk the place out in some, and they got the fantastic win against City, where I for one believe he outthought the master, which is old Pep there, and it was a great win. And no matter what people say, I thought we deserved the win. I thought we were the better team. It was a really against the odds performance, and I've always had at the back of my mind our injury list has been woeful, and it's been really woeful. I hear we're close to getting somebody else from Arsenal now, from the fitness side of things, and we might already have him. I know they're after somebody, but I think we got somebody from Arsenal only last year, and that hasn't improved things because we've had problems with injuries for 2 or 3 years. But this last 12 months, or this last season, has been the worst ever. I've never ever known a season like it for United or for anybody from the top league for that matter. It's been just absolutely horrendous. And when players come back, most of the time they're only lasting 2, 3 or 4 games and they're injured again. There's something drastically wrong. So he's been playing with probably half a deck. So everything's been against him. But we have also had the issues of some of the signings. Some of the signings have been woeful. You've got to believe Anthony was wholly ERIK's choice. He's been shocking over the last 2 years. I, for one, would like to see the back of him. There's a player there, there's no doubt about that, and no doubt he will improve. But for me to play for United on a regular basis, he's got to improve absolutely dramatically. And I don't see that anytime soon. I'd have him gone alongside many others. There's been a few other poor signings. The quality of folk that we look to be going for now, like the young lad the young centre back from Everton, and maybe the forward from Palace, they look to be on a different and better level. And these rumours were after other folk. My problem is, and it's a big problem, is those that, as I say, played for him last year that weren't actually playing for him. Can he turn those around? And if he can't turn folk around, if people aren't playing for him, will the board just let him bin them off as and when he wants to? Because that's what needs to happen. Even if we lose money on contracts or whatever else, we've got to get rid of the bad apples that don't want to be in that team. We've got to get rid of folk that aren't prepared to work. Marcus being one of them. If Rashford can turn it around and start to play for the team and put a shift in, then fine. But if he doesn't want to put a shift in at Old Trafford, we don't want him. But no, at the end, when they decided they wanted him to stay, I mean, for the last week or so now, I've changed my opinion again. I've wanted him to stay. But the reason I've wanted him to stay is because I look at the alternatives out there, and for me, they're just not good enough. I can't see any brilliant managers out there that were unemployed that I would want. Conte's just got another job. I don't want him. He'll cause an argument in an empty home, just like Mourinho did. We don't want that. Ancelotti we won't get, maybe a year or two down the line if things go all awry at Real Madrid. He'll be for the chop, because that's what they do there. He'd have been brilliant. Guardiola, obviously, we're not going to get him. He's at City. Klopp, we're not going to get him because he'll never manage in England again unless he comes back to Liverpool. I can't see any brilliant managers. We were looking at Tuchel, but he's fallen out with folk at Bayern. Before that, he fell out with folk at Chelsea. He seems to fall out with people pretty easily. For all, he's a good manager. I don't think he's for me. Who else were we after? There was 2. I'm going to leave your main man till last, the one that I thought we was going to end up getting. I wrote a couple on here. Southgate. I couldn't entertain Southgate at all. That was worrying me, folks. That was a real worry. We believe Sir Jim and Brailsford are pretty close to Southgate and his people. Is it Dan Ashworth, the guy that we're bringing in from Newcastle, is a good friend of Southgate's, and I thought, that's going to happen. Firstly, we'd have got him too late in the season, or too much into running into the new season because he's got commitments with England. All the transfers will be up in the air. We won't know whether we're coming or going. And then even at the end of everything with England, we're not certain he'd want to come over. But secondly, I don't think he's good enough. He's not tried and tested yet. His problem is he doesn't know what kind of football he wants to play. He's got a brilliant squad there this year. They should win the Euros. They probably won't, because we never do, and because we've got Southgate. If we had a fantastic manager managing England, I would be certain we'd win the Euros this time. I'm not, because of Southgate. So I don't want somebody I've got no faith in coming managing United. He's just not reactive or proactive at all. He's neither of them for me. Definitely not proactive. And then the last one was Pochettino. He was looking like a favourite in many people's eyes. But with Poch, the bit I can't forget, folks, is at Spurs. When it looked like they might be winning the Champions League, he actually said, well, if we had to won it or if we win it, I think I might quit. And I thought, what's all that about? He says, yeah, well, because once we've won it, that's it, I've reached the pinnacle. Then I'd hand the job over to somebody else and let them see can they take the Spurs any further than I could. And I thought, what on earth is that all about? Could you imagine Fergie in his pump when the Champions League, European Cup, whatever you want to call it, saying, I've had enough now, that's it. He'd want to win more and more and more. The same with your Guardiolas and the Klopps. You don't walk away after winning one cup and say, well, I've took them as far as I can, that's it. He was still a relatively young man. He's managed at PSG and Chelsea since, and he's after work now. Why on earth would he leave after 1 year? I thought, no. That's not the kind of player I want to manager I want at my club. So I think at the end of things, folks, I think Ten Hag was what I wanted, and it was probably the right decision. What's going to happen the next 12 months, I just don't know. Let's hope we get a fully fit squad. Let's hope we bring at least 3 signings in that are proper signings that will improve the team. I don't mean your Anthony's, and I don't mean your Mason Mounts. If they're at the same level as old Martinez, I'll settle for that. That's no problem at all. We brought a good one in there, but Mount, Anthony, and even the goalkeeper, I'm unsure about them 3 for a start. But anyway, they've got Iggy out now. Get Wan-Bissaka out and a couple more out, and hopefully make the squad a bit stronger. Let's see how we go next year. Will I be behind him next year? Of course I will. I do hope he turns it round. I really do. But at least now we know which way we're going. Decisions made before the Euro starts. There's a big shop window there, folks, for the next 4 weeks now. Who's to say we won't get anybody from the Euros? Maybe even somebody we've never heard of before who might shine over the next 4 weeks. It can happen. It's happened in the past. Hope they're a bit better than old Kareem. Is it Kareem? You know Poborski, you know his fame. I can't remember his first name. Kareem. You know what I mean, don't you? You know what I mean. Of course you do.